Many people believe Blake Lively's career mistake occurred when she first sued Justin Baldoni, but it actually started when she got together with Ryan Reynolds, and the career mistake has been catching up with her for a long time. And even though Justin Baldoni's lawsuit has been thrown out, Blake's husband Ryan is no longer holding back on throwing out their marriage, and the crazy thing you'll ever find out in the next few minutes of this video is how they went from being publicly supportive of each other to now wanting nothing to do with each other ever since the Justin Baldoni scandal. Before we get to how and why Ryan Reynolds is opting out of Blake's life, we must first go to the very beginning, before Ryan was ever in the picture, as this is precisely the insane detail that leads us to the disturbing update on the couple ever since the controversy. And it's definitely something you have to slowly follow through because it's the most damning piece of information you'll ever find on them. Blake initially gained significant recognition from her role in Gossip Girl, and everyone was obsessed with the characters in the show. However, there was also a lot of interest in the actors, and one of the very first news items about Blake revealed that she didn't have a great relationship with Leighton Meester on the set, even though their characters were best friends. There were reports that they were forced to work together. In 2009, Blake went on to feature in The Town with Ben Affleck, and it was also alleged that this was the first time Ben would cheat on Jen Garner at the time, which allegedly happened to be with Blake. However, it's essential to note all these histories associated with Blake because it's precisely the same pattern that will later become her downfall with Ryan Reynolds. And it's a shocking discovery that you won't want to miss about this couple as we expose it all to you in this video without holding back. Apart from being called a demanding diva on the set of Gossip Girl who had issues with everyone, including having physical fights with Taylor Momsen, none were as crazy as the allegations of splitting 3 celebrity couples up, which includes Ryan himself and Scarlett Johansson, Leonardo DiCaprio and Bar Raffaelli, and Ben and Jen, which we mentioned earlier. Now, you have to be really careful not to miss any of the things we are about to dig out, because the crazy twist that will eventually lead to the end of Ryan and Blake started right from when they got married on a plantation, which was at the time Gossip Girl was close to wrapping up the show. The Gossip Girl discussion or era is not lost on many fans following the story of Blake, but you will get to see why this show is essential in the history of their scandal and downfall soon. First, there were rumors that Ryan wanted her to quit Gossip Girl, but it was almost over anyway. When that was done, we got to start seeing their relationship dynamic, marking the very beginning of the end because it gets hotter than this. It was alleged that Ryan Reynolds was negotiating movie features and appearances on behalf of Blake. Being married to Blake automatically gave Ryan the power of a career manager, which was insane. Ryan was very ruthless in his demands when negotiating a role for Blake, and most of the time, the production would have no choice but to consider other options that didn't come with stricter rules. This allegedly made Ryan happy because his intention was not to have Blake work as much, which you'd know based on Scarlett's complaints over how Ryan was insecure about her success when they were married. It's no secret that Ryan is controlling, and that's one of the first things that damaged their reputation when Blake appeared in a film with Justin Baldoni, with Ryan's ego utterly destroyed. Still, you really have to wait for the main thing that happened because it's never really happened in any celebrity marriage, so it's a very shocking detail we are ready to spill as you ride along with us to get there. Some reports allege that Blake went through 4 personal assistants in 6 months because there was nothing to do career-wise. Blake began to grow tired of making only public appearances and wanted to do more, which all occurred very early in their marriage. And after being focused on her marriage and family for so long without really getting a significant role, Blake was super interested and happy when Justin asked her to play Lily in It Ends With Us, which led to the clashes with Justin and Ryan stepping up to want this to work for Blake since she hadn't been pleased with her career in a long time. However, this shows us how Blake transitioned from being hungry for fame and not hiding it while on the set of Gossip Girl to having her career controlled and negotiated by Ryan after her marriage. And during the controversy, before a judge close to the family threw out Justin's lawsuit, Blake and Ryan tried to really stay together and joke through it. But the big moment you've been waiting for is that their relationship allegedly didn't survive it. But now is where the drama begins, which ties us to the foundation we've been laying out all along, so you understand the story even better at this point because this is the part of the story you stayed for. Blake recently started crashing out on her Instagram, and her crash out basically involves the Gossip Girl cast, which we will now explain. People became convinced that Blake and Ryan were heading for a divorce because she had been very silent for a long time and had stopped posting on her social media pages in recent months, which was unlike her. Although many might say she's keeping a low profile so that everything could blow over, that might not be the case, as bigger moves made by Blake indicated otherwise. Blake kept it so quiet that people started showing interest in her again, wanting to know what she was up to and where exactly she was. And of course, Blake answered these questions most unexpectedly. Before her subtle yet powerful message, which indicated a divorce and a return to control over her own career, Blake had largely stopped showing up to support her husband in public over the past few months. Ryan has been very public, as he was on the red carpet at the Toronto Film Festival for his new documentary, John Candy. Blake, who was very involved in promoting Deadpool and other Ryan's past projects, just wasn't there. Even though Ryan received a significant award from the city of Vancouver, it was weird that Blake never made a post or even showed up for it. And the answer behind why Blake isn't showing up became very obvious with her major post following her lengthy social media silence, where she made an anniversary post for Gossip Girl with so many throwbacks that indicate a crash out and remembrance of the life she had before Ryan Reynolds. Blake, who was disassociated from her Gossip Girl colleagues and had rarely made any posts about the show in the past few years, suddenly went all out of her social media break to celebrate the show's anniversary. Also, this was a show where she was documented as a troublemaker who didn't get along well with her castmates. Over the years, there has been significant evidence that her co-stars on the show don't like her, as the only cast member who still follows her is Chase Crawford, which is very much on brand. Even her ex-boyfriend Penn Badgley isn't just not following her. He also supported Justin Baldoni during the scandal. So it's a fact that the Gossip Girl cast doesn't want anything to do with Blake, which makes this even crazier as we go into the details of the post, which she captioned, "This show was my college. It was my education, my social life, my hard work, my late nights and early mornings, my teacher. New York City and Silvercup Studios and sometimes Paris was my campus for 6 years. So many memories. What a decade. What a university." While the caption makes it appear to be a nostalgic moment of what the show means to her personally, the picture slides were full of friendly pictures of herself with cast members whom she didn't tag because they weren't following each other. Despite not being close with any of them, she shared playful images of herself and Leighton from the set, as if they were besties or still are. She went ahead and posted a lot more friendly pictures of herself and the cast. She also shared a playful photo of herself and the late Michelle Trachtenberg, who sadly died earlier this year. She added images of all the cast members having fun and being themselves on set. It would have been very different if they were just images of them as their characters, but instead, they are of the cast themselves having fun behind the scenes, which means Blake missed her old self before things went wrong on that set and before Ryan showed up in her life. But that's not the craziest part. In the anniversary post, she also added a picture of herself with Penn Badgley from the time, which looks like a formal date night. Based on their romantic history, it's clear that this image of herself and her ex is a cry for help, given that Blake is married to Ryan, who's known for his jealousy, and Penn is also happily married. And while it's perfectly okay to want to look back at that time, Blake's random memory of her excellent time on the set of Gossip Girl is a visit to memory lane, where she's panicking about her old life, who she really was before her affairs with Ryan, and why she had lost her career spark. The signs of not being seen in public with her husband to her sudden silence, and not showing support to her husband to going full on to remember the people who aren't her friends, are all indications of a person who's trying to find herself again, with a divorce ready to strike and forcing her to get back in control of her life.